Hey everybody, welcome to the February edition of Coffee with the Chief. And we were trying to come up with different guests to start the year, and last month we had our new town supervisor, Matt Howell, and we thought it would be great to bring on one of our new town council persons. So that's what we did. So this month we have Amanda Davis, who's a lifelong Town of Mount Hope resident, and she's now a first-term council person for the town. And we had a great discussion, and we're looking forward for you to learn everything about Amanda as we did. All right, Amanda, so thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for anyone in the town that doesn't know you?
I am married. We are blessed to have 2 young girls. They are 4 and 2. I myself am a lifelong resident. My husband is just from a town over in Slate Hill, but I brought him over here to Mount Hope. So.
That's good. And so you got 2 girls, so they're pre-K, they're not in
yep.
school yet, they don't go to school yet.
No, Elizabeth is, she's at Goshen Christian Preschool.
Okay, and you are a Minnesota graduate?
Yes.
What year did you graduate?
2007.
2007.
I actually graduated with Matt.
Oh, with Matt Howell?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he's our town supervisor and was our guest last month.
Yep. So
this was your first time running for office.
Yes.
So what made you decide to run for public office?
I didn't really come into last year thinking I was going to run for office. When the opportunity presented itself, I sat down and I talked to my husband about it because we make decisions jointly. And we thought it would be a good thing to start getting involved in town and local government. More so with the idea of our kids. We enjoy the town. We want to keep it going in the direction that it is. We're very happy with it. So just...
Politics can be, I guess, a rough, tumbling kind of
yes.
Endeavor sometimes. And your dad is a long-time town highway superintendent, so he's
yes.
He's familiar with politics. Did that kind of thing scare you a little bit?
It did. It did. Dad was elected in 2007, so I definitely had some years to watch the ongoings, we'll call it, of it. Yeah. But I guess that's just, it's the environment of it, but I just hope that I don't contribute to that environment for future candidates. I think everyone has the choice if they want to run and get involved, and if the people like you and what you're running for and what you stand for, then, let the people speak.
You can't take it personal.
No, you can't. At times it was hard to not take it personal, but you just gotta let it roll off your back.
I was listening actually last night to a podcast, and Craig Ellison, who's a city council person in Minneapolis of all people, was talking, and that was one of the things like he was saying, because he just won re-election in a very, very close race, and he said it was a hard struggle not to take everything personal.
Yeah. And
then when he won by like a handful of votes, the flip side, it was hard not to say, well, that's what you people want, so you get what you want kind of thing. So it's a learning environment, I guess.
It is.
So you've been on the town board now for, what are we in, February? So just a couple months. It's still a new thing, so you'll go in. It's 4-year term, so you'll get better as you go, I guess. You'll get more comfortable.
Yes, and the board is very supportive. It is very much a team environment, so I'm happy.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, you don't have any animosity, really. It kind of all works itself through.
Yep.
And I think the board, historically, in the last, however many, for a long time, has produced great results, and the community's been supportive. So, I mean, we don't have people, showing up with pitchforks at meetings,
no.
Screaming and yelling and that kind of stuff. Generally, it's pretty well received what you guys are doing. So you're a lifelong resident of Mount Hope. What do you like the most about living here? I mean, you got your husband to move here. So, like, what is it that, what did you tell him, like, why you have to move here?
Well, I was happy where I was. I don't want to move out of my house, so.
Okay, there you go. Well, so you own your house first.
Right, yep. It's a small town, rural feel to it still. I work locally at a farm, so I enjoy the fact that we still have farms in the area, and the community, the engaging events. And honestly, the people. You know, I really love the people that are in this town that I grew up with that are still here. So.
You know everybody. There's that small town feel to it
Yeah,
still.
exactly.
And I think it's unique a little bit, you know.
It is.
For people. What, so when you're a kid, because your dad really wasn't involved in politics yet, did you ever think you'd be on the town council or run for a political office? Did it ever enter your mind?
So I used to actually attend meetings with my dad when I was in middle school.
Okay.
So I guess at that time in my life, I was interested in it. You know, I paid attention to the meetings. I always asked my dad questions afterwards. But high school came, and then work and jobs, and so it kind of got pushed to the side. And at that point, I wanted to work with animals. So
you've had a lifelong interest in the agricultural
yes,
area.
agriculture.
And you said that's your horse jacket. So
It's just
you ride horses?
I used to have my own horse, yes. He passed away about 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay.
So I haven't had a horse since. Shortly after I got married, and then we started having a family, so it wasn't quite the time to get back into having a horse. But eventually one day I do hope to have my horse again. So.
That's good. What would you say is one thing, if there's one thing you could say you want to accomplish during your first term in office, what do you think that would be?
So when you presented this question last night, I was a little stumped on it, and I still am, because I don't feel that there's anything that needs to be drastically changed right now in the town. You know, of course, I do want to accomplish my duties that are assigned to me. Actually, in the last interview you had with Matt, he spoke of the Veterans Day Parade. That's one of my assignments. So I do hope to continue that, as well as Matt has in the past. But just to make the people proud who elected me, just to continue the work that the board has done prior. I don't feel, there's some minor things internally, but I don't feel that there's anything drastically that needs to be changed, that I need to accomplish. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can always tweak things, right? There's
Yes.
always like a tweak here, a tweak there, and then say, wow, that actually works better. Not that the other thing didn't work, but
Correct.
You know, and as a long time resident, my family's been here forever, like the town runs pretty well. I mean,
It
the
does,
taxes are low, the services are good, and
I'm sure a bump in the road will arise, and
always does.
you know, you just work through it. So.
And I think a lot of it too, and people say this to me, and because they watch the meetings on the board, and there's a lot of it, there's stuff that people don't even realize, and they'll see something, but the whole story's not out there, so it's kind of like that inside baseball thing. So that's, you know, that's the challenge too, you know. So what have you learned in the first 2 months, or is there something you've learned that you didn't know about how government functions?
The training was very eye-opening that the state does. We're part of Association of Towns, so that was very helpful and in-depth. And I knew going into this it would be more than just 2 meetings a month, of course.
Right.
But board members put a great deal of time into servicing the public, not just individually, but as a group. Which again, I knew going into this, and it's nice. It's, you know, it's good to be busy.
Yeah.
So.
You'll have people knocking on your door. And they'll be like, "Hey, the road is flooded," or you know, we need a stop sign here. Like once they find out where you live, then you're in trouble, because then they'll just start coming in with all their little things. But that's good. Like you can deliver, right? And then people will be happy, and it's just it's fun, I guess, for you, right? You enjoy it.
It is
so
fun.
far?
I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Now, what do your daughters think? I mean, you got two girls, right? So what are they too young to really understand it?
Cecile is a little too young. She wants to go with me to the meetings, and she's only 2,
Right.
so it won't quite work out. Really? But Elizabeth kind of she's 4, so she doesn't quite understand it, but she understands the importance of it, that, to be involved. So I think over time she'll understand it more.
And you're the only female on the board.
Yes.
And we still have, not nearly enough women involved in political office. So do you feel that you are a role model? Does that ever enter your mind? Like, do you look at it and say, hey, I want to be a role model so my daughters know they can do anything? I know it's on the small town field.
In a sense, yes, but I don't know. I guess I've always instilled in my daughters that as long as you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter, if it's considered and I hate putting labels on stuff like this because I don't
think about it.
Yeah, I don't think about it. But if it's like a man's job or something like it, if you have the capability to do it, then do it, But I also don't want my daughters exaggerating that they're a woman.
Right.
I can do this even though it's a man's job and I'm a woman. Just be humble and just do your work.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Well, that's good. Have you had any challenges in your life that you think have shaped you or changed the way you've looked at things?
Challenges. I guess becoming a mother.
That's a challenge.
It is a challenge, but it's a blessing, but it's also a challenge. Every day is new. Every day is different.
Especially with little kids.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a challenge. I'm thankfully beyond that stage. Once you do, you're like,
yeah.
Wow. And everyone says it gets harder, but it's different problems.
Yeah. Elizabeth is my sweetheart, Cecile is my, she pushes me.
Yeah, that's funny. Me and Sergeant Brasino were talking before, just going on vacation with kids, driving in the car. It's just like, everything has to be timed. So that is a challenge.
Yes. We're planning on going to Maine this summer, and we're thinking of doing the drive overnight.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a good idea. So, what would you say is the proudest moment in your life so far?
The proudest moment. I have to check my notes.
You've been thinking about it.
I know, I have been. I spent a while last night on it.
You gotta relax.
I know. My family.
And you're close to your mom and dad, right?
Yes.
You've always been.
Yes. My dad's accomplishments, the support that I get from my mom, my husband, we're very close, very good communication, very supportive of each other. So.
And you can see, or I've been able to witness this, is when your daughter sees your dad. Like, there's like this whole,
yes.
like, when you look at that, you're like, wow, this is what it's all about. I'm not at that stage of being a grandparent, but you see like that connection and that on both of their parts, and it's kind of like a nice, like, for watching that from afar. I've seen it a few times. We had that dinner at the senior center back in the fall, and I think your husband brought her and came in, and it's just like, wow, you can see that great connection, and that's. As someone that lived, my parents lived across the street, and I lived next door to my grandparents, so there's that connection in that family. It's kind of a cool thing.
It is.
And unfortunately, everyone can't live that, but it is, like, they'll remember all these times forever.
Yes, they will.
And it's really kind of a neat thing. So, who would you say is the most important person in your life right now?
My husband. Again, the support we have with each other, the communication, the love. He's an amazing father, so definitely my husband.
And how did you meet him?
My coworker introduced me to him. Not really planned, just kind of happened. And then we got married, and then fast forward, I introduced her to someone, and then they got married, so
that's cool.
kind of reciprocated it.
Well, that's neat. That's cool. What do you do? I mean, listen, you have 2 kids, a husband, you have a dog, right?
I have 2 German Shepherds.
Yep. So when I say, and you're on the town board, what are your hobbies? I mean, I don't know if you have time for hobbies, but you work, all those things. So what do you do to decompress? Like, what's something you like to do?
We're definitely an outdoor family. We like to do stuff outdoors, fishing. We have a little pond in the backyard. We like to go fishing, catch frogs. You can usually find us in the summertime, in the evenings, out at the pond catching frogs with the kids.
Fun.
Hiking, obviously having 2 shepherds, very high energy dogs. They like to go for hikes.
Yeah. And they're good with the kids.
They are.
Very pride protective.
Yes,
They're very-
yes, excellent with the kids. And in the winter time, when it's not so much outdoors, crafting. So.
Do you have anything that you do yourself to decompress at the end of the day?
Go to bed.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have time for, right? I bought this Core Fitness. It's this meditation thing. So you hold it in your hand.
Okay.
It's kind of a cool thing, and then you can do these different meditations. You're supposed to start every day with it, which I got it for Christmas from my wife, and I used it like for the first 2 weeks every day. And now it's just hard to find time to do it. But it's like one of those things, and people do it at night as well. But it's just like it's supposed to be like your 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it's going to be. So that's something I've tried to introduce this year. And it's expensive. It was like $200 this thing.
Okay.
And you listen like on headphones, and then you hold it, and it vibrates, and you try to sync your voice or your breathing up rather to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a cool thing. So that's what I been doing to decompress.
Yeah.
Because Marie and Anna, they'll tell you, people always say, we can't see you yelling, and they'll tell you that that's really not the case. Every so often, I've been known to raise my voice, but whatever. So that's my meditation thing, so try to chill out. So do you prefer to read, watch TV? Like, what is your preference?
I guess read, but I don't know. I really don't do either. I kind of just, I do my crafting, or, we spend time with the girls, do puzzles. We like to do puzzles quite a bit. We try to steer away from TV. My husband loves his sports, so usually any time of year there's always baseball, football,
Right.
something.
What about the movies?
Movies?
I've been to the movies.
I haven't been to the... I think the last movie I saw in the theaters was, and I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it was the movie about the Boston bombing.
Okay.
What
I
was
think
that?
I saw that too.
Yeah, that was the last time I was in the movies.
I forget the name of it now. Yeah,
was.
Yeah. It was. What, and I ask every guest this, have you ever been to Action Park?
Action Park?
In Vernon, remember that? Well, you might be too young for that. You don't even remember Action Park. Oh,
Never heard of it.
Really? So there's a book and a movie out on Action Park, and it depends. So every guest that I ask, Carrie actually, I remember that. And, I had Steve Newhouse on as a guest,
Yes,
last
I did see
year,
that one, yep.
And Steve was talking about it. It's just, anyway, if you're ever bored one night, you can stream the show about Action Park. You'll learn all about it. And it's all true. And when you're a kid, it talks about how...
Is that the one with the dangerous water slide that killed people?
Yes, that's it. Right.
Yeah, I've never attended, and I don't remember it, but I did see the...
Right, we did this thing, so... Anyway, what is your favorite memory growing up in the town?
My favorite memory, probably being young and attending the meetings with my dad. Of course, the fair every year. Just right before school started, you meet back up with your friends and everything. So that was always fun.
Otisville Country Fair.
Yep, Otisville Country Fair. And then just memories of Otisville Elementary. I attended the old school, so the new school wasn't built yet. Actually, when art class came through, we were so big that Otisville Elementary had to bring in 3rd grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a little memory, but it was a good school.
Your daughter's too young, but she'll go to the new school, so you can't really compare the atmosphere yet. Right?
She would be,
Right,
however,
if she goes, if she goes to the school, right.
We chose private school for
Right.
Elizabeth, so.
It's interesting because I think people always look fondly on, old buildings and old memories, and that's all great. And we had Allison Miller a few months ago talking about all the great things they're doing at the school. And I always like to talk and ask people, like, all right, how does that match up to really reality? You always remember the great things, right?
Yeah.
You always remember, You know, you
Yep.
think back when you're a kid, oh my God, the vacations were awesome and everything went great. And then someone says, wait, didn't you fall and break your arm that one time? You're like, oh yeah, you know, like.
Well, there's always the good with the bad.
Right. So you always have that, like you got that, you know, or the memories. So that's why I was just curious. You know, but yeah, your kids are too little and they probably won't go to school there anyway. So it's not, you're going to be.
Yeah.
not
Nothing
good.
against the school
No,
district,
of course
of
not.
course.
No, of course. No. Everyone makes choices. And like my kids, when they first started out, they were going to Mount Carmel in Middletown, and then you know over the year we made the transition, and they're in high school now. But everyone makes their own decisions and does what's best. And
What's best for your family.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how is your husband taking this whole thing? Is he good with you?
He's good. He's very supportive. You know, we worked out a schedule, during the week. Meal planning is a big thing for meeting nights.
Yeah, I would think.
Of course, with my work schedule, working at the farm, milking is in the evening, so I'm working till 5:30, 6
So
o'clock.
when you say you work at the farm, you actually milk the cows?
3 nights out of the week, I am in the barn working with Rick. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I thought you
Yeah.
just worked in the store.
2 nights I am, and then if they need me to fill in the other store, because we have the dry goods store and then the milk store.
So would you describe yourself as a farmer?
No.
You had to think about that.
I did. So I wouldn't call myself a farmer because it's not my farm.
Gotcha.
I'm just an employee on the farm.
Have you ever thought of that? I mean, I know you're
Owning?
not buying Rick's
Yeah,
farm, but,
no.
but would, obviously, but would you ever think of?
If I have a lot of years ahead of me to learn everything. I've probably only been in the barn for 5 years now, and I've learned quite a bit. But it's every day it's something new. It's never the same routine. Cows have personalities just like humans. They have good days and bad days. So
I was talking to a woman who I've known for years, and I never knew her. I guess her childhood, and she grew up on a huge dairy farm. Her father was a huge dairy farmer upstate New York, in Syracuse area.
Okay.
And I don't know, like the cat, like I was like, well, how big is it? She says, I'm like 1,000 heads or whatever that meant,
Yeah.
right? And one day I went to Rick. I said, what does that mean? And he says, that's pretty big. That's a
Yeah.
pretty big farm. Like that's a
huge
farm,
farm.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. But the thing was like the idea of like her explanation of growing up on a farm. It was the hard work and all that
Yeah.
piece. And she was, she had a bunch of brothers and a bunch of sisters, and they, worked the farm.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, what a great, cool lifestyle.
It-
Like I don't think I
is.
could do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, what a great way. Like it's just an awesome, and unfortunately, we're losing them.
Yeah.
We're losing these farms, and I think we're losing so much.
we are.
It's just a cool.
It's upsetting.
Yeah. So no desire to grab a couple cows, bring them over to your place, and
No,
Start it
not
out.
at the moment. I'm good. Yeah.
because as Matt brought up, I don't know, did he bring it up? But I just found out Matt has cows, which I guess I knew, but I didn't realize he still had them.
Yep.
But yeah, so we were talking about that as well. So, and we're one of the few towns that really still have active farms. And
Yes.
Rick's farm is huge, right? Like in terms of, not big in terms of numbers, but
yeah,
in terms
but-
of everyone knows it. He's
Yes.
got the
Yeah. Well, we have it's a pretty large customer base. We have people that come from
All over.
the city,
Yeah,
Connecticut,
right.
Jersey for milk. So
It's awesome. It's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us this month.
Thank
I think
you.
that people probably learned a lot. So what's the best way if somebody has an issue for you to reach you? Why don't you give your email address?
I would say my email address, which is adavis@townofmounthope.org, or my cell, 845-332-1171.
That's good. Now, people will be calling you all the time about that stop
Looking
sign
forward to
it. Listen, Al D'Amato made a whole career on the town board down in Hempstead, and then it ended up being a senator for 18 years, based on
Wow.
they used to call him Senator Pothole because that was his thing. Because when he was on the town board in Hempstead, like his big thing was like he would go out and make sure everyone was taken care of, like in terms of the potholes were fixed, the signs
Yeah.
were right, and he was able to parlay that into the United States Senate for 18 years. So, I mean, there's that constituent service is such an important part of what you
Yes.
guys do. So,
Yes, it
well,
is.
thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
And,
having me.
Yeah, no, and if there's anything you ever need, just let us know, and
All right.
vice versa. Cool.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you.